Shalom, brothers and sisters!
Shalom!
Yeah, so, I was on there, Facebooking it, and, I've been hearing a lot of people say that the Torah, oh man, that the Torah was, that we weren't supposed to keep the Torah. What kind of understanding is that? Like, if Torahlessness or Torahlessness is lawlessness, and the man of sin is Torahless, why would you want to do that? Bernie, take it away.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's this misconception that the Torah is bondage, but that's definitely not the case. Like Jonathan said earlier, why would Yahuwah, Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, the Lord, take the children of Israel out of Egypt, which Egypt literally means bondage, to put them into bondage by giving them the law?
Right.
No, as James says, the law is perfect. It is the law of liberty, of freedom. And as we obey the law, we don't obey it to be judgmental, and we obey it because
Or for salvation.
That's the word I was looking for. We don't obey it for salvation, but we obey it because it's the pattern of creation that gives the best lifestyle, especially when you tie it to the mercy and compassion that Mashiach Yahushua, Jesus, gives us, teaches us. So we forgive because we have been forgiven. But if the law hasn't been given, there cannot be mercy. So there had to be the law, and there had to be a judgment according to the law, so that when Mashiach would come, we could be shown mercy, who were all already in sin. And that's the only way this would work. Does that mean that we do away with the law because mercy came?
God forbid.
Let it not be so.
Right.
Right? Paul tells us in Romans, no. Now we have the opportunity to use the law to point out what sin is, as Paul says.
Right.
And that's what we're doing.
How would I have known sin?
Unfortunately, the Christians, the Christian church, and they have thrown away the law just to think about mercy. But if the law doesn't matter, you can't have mercy.
Right. And so I've noticed that the people that throw away, that look at the Bible and look for ways to not obey it, like loopholes to not obey it, have eyes of darkness, right? And then when a Messiah, that is, Yahushua said that another one comes in his name and him you do obey. I come in my Father's name and you don't receive me. So this other one comes with like, oh, it's okay. You don't have to obey my Father's words, and puts you in a trance, right? And then you're like, oh, I like what he's saying, and we don't have to obey his word. It's just nonsense. Snap out of it in Yahushua's name. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna hand over the mic over here to my sister. All right, hallelujah.
Yeah, and so it really is a deception, because we were created and we know that Elohim is an Elohim of order. So how can we just walk in this earth now after salvation, after Yahushua gave his life to fulfill the Torah? And that's exactly what we have, like what he did for us, so that we are slaves to the Torah. And Torah isn't the law, it's instruction. It's supposed to help us live our lives righteously, to be like Mashiach. So if Mashiach fulfilled the life, or fulfilled the Torah, how much more should we fulfill the Torah? And of course we're not going back to sacrifices, because Yahushua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, is the ultimate sacrifice.
Rightly dividing. Yeah. So rightly dividing the Torah, that's very important right there. Thank you for opening that door.
Hallelujah.
So, yeah, the thing that Messiah did away was the death penalty that the Torah brings. And it was seen in the physical through animal sacrifice.
Yes.
So bam, he did away with that, took part of the Torah, because it was imposed after they got the covenant. They heard the covenant. They did idolatry with the golden calf. So Yahuwah was like, bam, Moses, I'm going to destroy them all, and I'll start brand new with you, right? And Moses interceded for him, for all of us, for Israel. And that's why he's like, all right, fine, let's put this book of the law outside of the covenant as a witness against them, right? And then Mashiach comes and bam, takes away that burden from us so that we could get his spirit, yeah, and start abiding in his ways.
Yeah. And that's
yeah,
it's
so
that simple.
So what was inside the Ark of the Covenant? It was the 10 Commandments,
The broken tablets.
right? And and the witness against us was the book of law. But now, what do we put inside of our temple, since we are the temple of Yahushua HaMashiach these days, right? What is it? Because we gotta. I've been working on a study in my mind. I wrote it down, but so okay, about teaching how to discern profane things from Kodesh things, set apart things, and we have to know what is set apart and what is not set apart. Well, I think the Shabbat day is the 4th covenant word, and it's like the most set apart. Like in the beginning, Yahuwah worked 6 days, and then on the 7th day he set it apart. He rested. That's like the most set apart, and it's such a joy and a blessing, because we get to unite with brothers and sisters and speak of Yahuwah's word as we're sitting down, as we're rising up, as we're walking along the road, as we're praising him.
Amen.
All right, Bernie, take it away. Tell them another set apart thing, and
Well, we'll leave the next one for the next video.
dun, dun, dun.
Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.